What in the world, boy? It's your boy Big Love Country. For everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Love Country. I'm just an old country boy, former football coach. I love to sit around and talk about sports. You yourself could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we definitely and greatly appreciate it. First of all, if you're watching the show after we've gone live already, make sure you put a what in the world bowl in the comments. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. If you do that for us, I promise you, we'll dance at your wedding one day. I'm going to be completely honest with you, coaching staff. The old country boy is feeling good tonight. You might ask why I'm feeling good tonight, and you're probably going to be seeing it as we go throughout the show. First of all, I heard that one of my favorite groups is going on tour, and they're going to be at a few different places that I'm going to be at in the upcoming months. You might ask who that favorite group is. It's 112. 112. I'm going to be, hopefully Coach Ronnie sees this, and she says, oh, I'm going to take Big Low to the Room 112 tour. She think that I'm a crazy Jagged Edge fan, but yeah, I was bumping that 112 back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So, in honor of that, you're going to be hearing a whole bunch of 112 references throughout this show. So, here we are. We got to have the coaches meeting because the Atlanta Falcons just got their 53-man roster. And, of course, as a coaching staff, y'all know we got to react to it, right? First of all, y'all know what we do, Bo. We got to show love to everybody that's showing love to us. Big John Higgins in here in pole position, per usual. That's Big Low Country. What's happening with you? And Coach Roney, he says, well, 53-man roster is here. I like it. Let's see how everyone else feels. Go Falcons, rise up. You got to love it, Bo. We got Flying Eagles in here. It says, what in the world, Bo? What's going on? What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? Flying Eagles says, go Falcons. This year about to be bigger than a Jerry Glanville belt buckle. Golly. Now, if y'all young Thundercats don't know, Jerry Glanville was the cowboy that was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and he used to rock them big belt buckles, the hats, all black. It was a vibe. Too legit to quit Falcons was a vibe. Grits Blitz was a vibe. Nando's in says, what in the world, Bo? He says, I don't like this roster. He says, and I can only see 9 wins max. With our O-line problems, this will be hurting us all season, Bo. Daggum. Goodness gracious, Bo. Well, y'all know how we do. We're gonna look at the roster. I'm going to get it pulled up on here in just a second after we do our formal introductions. And look, it's going to be one of them situations where, moving forward, we're going to kind of see exactly, what we got going on. So let's see. I ain't ready to share it yet. Also, he says this roster is fit to thrive on special teams only, Bo. What in the world? Hashtag Felipe Phil Franks. Also, Blind Eagle says, I bet Arthur Blank told him 10 wins and playoffs or head coach and GM change. Daggone. Man, I don't know, Coach. We look. There's only one way to find out. A Needs in here says, "What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, A Need?" Tricks in here says, "Low, what's good, homie? What's going on, Trick?" Derek Hughes, "What in the world, Bo?" Ricky Gaines is in here. "What in the world, Bo?" Richard Russell, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing good. I hope you've been down there throwing axes and machetes and all that stuff. You had a obsessed look in your eye, Richard. What's going on, man? But J Rock, a different breed T is in here. Says, what's up, Low? Jeff Holton, what in the world, Bo? April Thomas, much love to you. Ray 50 says, Cupid doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. True. Shouts out to you, Ray 50. See, you're on top of it. You understood the assignment. Rich is in here, says, rise up from Tampa. What's going on, Rich? Hope you staying out the strip clubs down there in Temple. Ed Mitchell's in here. Dirty Bird, what's going on, man? Much love. No good, but two goods in here. What's going on? Much love to you. Padres in here. It says Coach. What's going on, Coach and staff? Hope you're doing good. Definitely. Shouts out to everybody that's in here in the chat tonight. Chopping it up with old country boy at 9:40. So need y'all to make sure that y'all do Country Boy a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you hit those buttons for me, I promise y'all dance at your wedding one day. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. Let them know that there's old country boy, former football coach that loves to sit around and talk about sports, and he's going to give you a great time. So, the 53-man roster has been released. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, there's one thing that we have to acknowledge, and that thing that we have to acknowledge is, I don't know if you've noticed this, coaching staff. I don't know if y'all seen. I've been on a few shows. You know, I'm pretty sure y'all been on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else where everybody was trying to make their predictions about who's going to be staying on the 53-man roster. A lot of people got naked. I mean, look. Let's call it what it is. It kind of turned into South Beach. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I would say that I was one of them. I went to bat for Joshua Simon. I mean, he's not here. I went to bat for Simeon Barrow. He's not here. My boy Nick Nash gave me the gloves. He's not here. Everybody thought Chris Blair was going to be here. He's not here. A lot of Falcons fans and content creators got naked. You know, shouts out to Uncle Steve and T Will. You know, y'all seen T Will on the show after the last preseason game. T Will got naked, did cartwheels, you know, did a little cheer and spelled out Felipe Franks, you know, all in one cheer. It was so creative. Shouts out to T Will for my TikTok Sports One. But fact of the matter is that the Atlanta Falcons are going to choose the guys that they want to choose. And I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people, including Jack Spade, who was getting naked for Chris Blair singing that 112 song. Sitting here thinking about you and all the things we used to do. I never thought that I would lose you because you were always my boo. That's what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of people. I mean, y'all seen the comments whenever we started the show off. Shouts out to you, Bernard. What's going on, Bo? John Brooks in here. Jay, what's going on, man? Dirty Bird said, we will survive. Oh, yeah, got to. We don't got no choice but to. But a lot of people like the 53-man roster, but a lot of people don't like the 53-man roster. I mean, because there were people like Kerry, like, hey, Kobe Bryant got to make the squad, right? Right, guys? Right? Kobe Bryant didn't make the squad. So moving forward, there's a lot of guys that didn't make the squad that we found out were waived that we're hoping can make the practice squad if they clear those waivers, right? So and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, hey, is it one of them situations where Kobe Bryant clears waivers and makes the practice squad? Is Nick Nash, Chris Blair going to clear waivers and make the practice squad? We're going to see, right? Richard Russell says, hi, no axes, but a couple shovel throws. Might have ordered some ninja stars. I'm sure you ordered some ninja stars, Richard. Anthony White says, what in the world, Bo? Interesting day in Flowery Brent, man. It was very interesting. So my first question that I want to ask the coaching staff before we go ahead and pull up the 53-man roster, were there any surprises that anyone that kind of caught you off guard? Is there anybody who really, you know, whenever you found out they didn't make the list, you were like, dang, you didn't make the list? It's like that. It's over now. 112. We also got first Superman chat. Padre says, hey, coach, you need to go ahead and stretch big fella because I don't think Dwayne Leffert got a check for you. Hello. I hang up and listen. Da-da-da! That's a Superman chat. Look here. Coach Dwayne, I'm telling you, I kick back with the best of them, coach. You see the hands. Thumbs always up, coach. I kick back with the best of them. Like I won't. You know, zone run blocking scheme, that's cool. My 40-yard dash is impeccable. Gotta love it. So y'all let us know in the chat, is there someone that surprised you that did or didn't make it when it came down to it? I just want to know what y'all are thinking. So Trick said Chris Blair. Shouts out to him. You know, his story. He talked about how much he loved the city of Atlanta. I thought for sure he would be. I mean, he was one of the best performers in preseason, but unfortunately he didn't make the cut. Christopher White says, Big Low, that Florida Catfish shirt messing up the show. Go Dogs. Look at here, man. Look here, Chris. So I'm wearing the Florida Gator shirt because, as y'all know, my little cousin We went through the whole process, the whole recruitment process with him. Been working with him since he first started playing football. Shouts out to you, Shady. If you get a chance to see this, know that we love you. He's playing his first college football game, first SEC college football game on Saturday. And in honor of little Cuz, I had to represent for little Cuzzo. He got this shirt for me. So shouts out to you, little Cuz. We already know that you're going to do it big. But Chris, get that hate out your heart, man. Get that hate out your heart. Ernest Gibson says, what in the world, Bo? Jordan Fuller. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. That Jordan Fuller, that kind of surprised me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. It really kind of didn't surprise me after we seen Morgan Fox get cut, and he was one of the initial cuts. So look here. It's looking like Raheem Morris, it was one of them situations where we know that he's a big relationship guy. It seemed like he kind of didn't really care, right? At the end of the day, Raheem doesn't lie. Just think he won't give Jordan Fuller goodbyes. Oh, yeah. He let him go at the end of the day. Morgan Fox, $3 million deal. We don't care. You're obviously not good as Brandon Dorless in our eyes. He let him go. So, I mean, that's pretty telling, Bo. Pretty telling. Jay Beasley's in here, says Chris Blair, yes. Silk Legacy said Chris Blair and Nash. Man, look at here. Like I said, y'all know I developed a bit of a relationship with with Nick Nash. Throughout training camp and even before training camp and OTAs, got to be real cool with them. We swag surfed together, me, Nick Nash, and Kerry. We all swag surfed with Mario, Eric, and everybody else that were out there. I taught him how to throw the A up. And look at here, bro. He gave me some gloves. Man, I hated to see Nick Nash go. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why it was one of those situations where I really didn't want to see it. A little bit later on, Ray 50 said, I'm surprised the cornerback room, we should have kept Henderson. Yeah, I think Henderson came in there pretty late, Bo. He came in there pretty late. So, it may be one of them situations where a lot of these other guys may have, developed a little bit more, knowledge of the scheme and a little bit more of a rapport with the rest of the team. So when it comes to that DB room, April Thomas says Kobe Bryant. Yeah, a lot of people thought he was going to be here. Anthony White said biggest surprise: J.D. Bertrand and Felipe Franks making the roster again. Khalid Kareem, Chris Blair not making it. I definitely agree with you, Bo. I definitely agree with you. Nando says Simon, Burrow, Blair should have made this roster. J.D. Bertrand looks like Nate Lambert in this scheme. Dang, that's tough. Jamal ATL 404 says Clark Phillips and Mike Ford Jr. I don't know how they made the roster. Look, it's one of those situations. Go SRT James says, wait a minute, why you got that shirt? Look, man, Go SRT says, hold on now. He invited me to his Georgia Bulldog chat on Instagram. I know how much of a Bulldog he is. Look, I got a rep for little cuz, bro. I got to do it. I got to do it. Padre says it's at 9:46. Says we had 101 people watching and 29 likes. Something ain't right. Need y'all to hit that like button for me. You do that, I promise you, I dance at your wedding one day. Cool SRT said, good for him, but you tripping, bro. Man, come on, man. DJ Primetime says, good luck to your cousin. That's huge. Definitely, man. We definitely appreciate it, bro. Definitely appreciate it. So let's take a look at the roster and let's see what we got going on. Shouts out to Money Man Montana's in here. It says, I think our secondary will be weak. We don't have no sufficient cornerback. Well, that's the beautiful thing about looking to see what we got. So starting off, quarterback position. we see Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins. We didn't go with a third quarterback this year. Now, I could definitely see us getting a quarterback for the practice squad. Most likely Easton Stick. It'll be one of them situations where he ends up clearing waivers, and we'll end up putting him on the practice squad. Easton Stick, he has some highlights and some lowlights, but I think we all agree with this quarterback room. Y'all put y'all hate of Kirk Cousins aside. Don't think about that, and think about it where it's one of them situations where, hey, you got a really good quarterback and you got a pretty doggone good backup quarterback that almost got us to the playoffs last year if he didn't sustain that injury. So that's one thing that we got to consider. B Lane says nothing Rob brings translate to anything, depending on development talent. Well, look, a lot of people said he's one of the best coaches in the league. So we're going to see if that talent develops. Shout out to my sister Karina Atkins in here, big sis in here. Shouts out to her. Hope old Freddie's doing good. Much love to you, fam. So moving forward, one of the biggest surprises, Carlos Washington. He's been on the team for like the last 3 years. They let Carlos Washington go. He sustained an injury. Padres said, "Hey, coach, when you serving those smoked meat plates, run me them burn ends. Look here, Bo. Look here. They ain't finna make it to you because by the time the burn ends come through, it's gonna be one of them situations where, they're gonna be gone. But maybe one day we might be able to put something together." Carolina's armchair GM says, "Trust me, y'all save yourselves by letting CJ Henderson go." Daggone, that's rough. Is that bad? Goodness gracious. Nando says Alfred made the roster because of his stats from last season. Henderson should have had his slot. Look, I'm not mad at you. Shouts out to my homeboy DC ATLGA Faithful, another really good Falcons content creator. So one thing that we got to consider is the running back room. I've been saying this for a very long time. My homeboy Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier is one of the best running back duos in the NFL. I would say, honestly, the best running back room in the NFL. Now, moving forward, Nathan Carter, he had a few good runs whenever he had the room in the offensive line. Now, offensive line, that's where there's going to be a lot of issues moving forward. All right, Coach Roney just came in here and moved the light around. I guess y'all can't see me that good, so let me take my hat off. Maybe y'all be able to see me. I can't help it. I'm chocolate, Coach Roney. I'm chocolate. People aren't going to be able to see me as well. And it's probably with this laptop that I'm on with this camera too. But I apologize about this, y'all, if y'all can't see me. See Electrician says, "What's going on, Big Low?" So let me ask y'all, on a scale of A, B, C, D, F, what do y'all give the running back room? I just want to know what y'all are thinking. I should have did this for the quarterback room, but we'll definitely get to it. But on a scale of A, B, C, D, or F, what do you give the running back room? Me, myself, I'm giving it an A. I mean, you really can't do too much better than Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. It's the perfect combination of thunder and lightning. Both guys are capable of running for 1,000 yards. Bijan Robinson is capable of receiving for 1,000 yards in the right offense. So y'all let me know what y'all thinking. A need. Dearius Key says, 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, 9. Okay, I'll take that. DC, Ricky, they say A. Stephon Shelling says he needs a little bit more. B. Derek Hughes, Mike Bush says A. Anthony White says A+. I ain't even mad at that, Anthony. Jamal, ATL, Nando says A. I'm cool with it. Dirty Bird says A. Okay. Chris says A 2 times. There you go. Chris White says people need to do their research. Our cornerback room is going to be good. D is a cornerback and a kick returner. He does more than one thing, which makes a difference. Special teams. If you want to make a team, play good on special teams. Padre, says, hey, okay, I ain't mad at that. Shouts out to the Falconator chilling out with us on Facebook. He says, hey, hoping the tackle injuries don't take away from the running back's potential. I definitely agree with you. Now, mind y'all, I do want to let y'all know we had issues and questions like this similar in 2016. I don't know if y'all remember this. Wes Schweitzer, Chris Chester, manning that right side, and no, I'm sorry, they were manning the guard positions, and they came out and they did what they needed to do. Kyle Shanahan and the offensive line coaches and everybody, they that whole team, that whole offensive line played together that whole season. So if it's one of those situations where we need Elijah Wilkerson or Terrell to come in and play for us for 8 games, hopefully they could be what we need them to be. But whenever we get to that offensive line room, because I'm pretty sure that's what everybody's biggest concern. I'm eager to hear what y'all got to think about it. Smooth C says A, Flying Eagle says 10, Cliff A+. Okay, I ain't mad at it. All right, moving forward. Wide receiver room. How do y'all feel about the wide receiver room? So you got Drake London, Darnell Mooney, who's nursing the injury himself, Ray McLeod, Cordero Hodge, my homeboy Casey Washington. Shouts out to you, Casey. David Seals, which was somewhat of a surprise. Some people, said that they could really see a lot of potential in him. And Jamal Agnew, who is a Pro Bowl kick returner. So y'all let me know, how are you feeling about that wide receiver room? Give me from A, B, C, D, or F. Y'all let me know. Wide receiver room, y'all let me know how y'all feeling. Also, if you're watching this show after we've gone live already, feel free to put your comments in there for your comment for whatever position it is. If it's running back, just put RB. A. Wide receiver, put WR, B, or whatever grade that you want to put in. I just want to know the overall feedback from the team. Ray Fidget says we traded for Andy Levitre that year. That's it. We traded for Andy Levitre. We had Wes Schweitzer and Chris Chester, Alex Mack, Jake Matthews. I mean, that was the best offensive line in the league, bro. Best offensive line in the league. All right, so I was eager to see what everybody thought about the wide receiver room. Derek Hughes says B-. Okay, Stephon Schilling says C+. John Thompson said no Blair. I know it, man. DJ Primetime says D-line rotations have the most potential we've had in years. Let's hope some of these young guys pop and form a unit that wreaks havoc or wrecks havoc, depending on what part of the country you're from. Body Bagel says B+. Tim says B+. Okay. B-Lane that says, I hope Raheem worked the clock management because that's some basic behind coaching. Hello. Anthony White says B-. John Thompson says B-. Michael Bush says B-. Now, okay, so I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give the wide receiver room a B. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think we're kind of spoiled, right? If you look back at previous years when you had Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, you had Julio Jones, Roddy White, Harry Douglas, had Andre Rison, Terrence Mathis, and you know what I'm saying. Over the years, we've been a little spoiled in the wide receiver room. So I feel like Drake London is a top 5 wide receiver. I'm putting that out there. A lot of people know whenever we first took him, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Pineapples, I don't like it. But once again, I've been proven wrong. This is why I'm an insurance adjuster and not an NFL GM. So that's something that you got to consider. All right. Darnell Mooney. I think Darnell Mooney is a heck of a wide receiver. The only issue that I have with Darnell Mooney, I feel like he's a little too small. And I'm not talking about in height, but I'm talking about in stature. So I don't know if y'all know this, but Darnell Mooney weighs like 169, 170, or in the 170s. That's a lot to take on a NFL season. coming in like that. Now, mind you, a lot of people don't understand that he's a burner. Like, people don't understand how fast he is. I think he runs a 4.3 or 4.4 40-yard dash. People think he's just a route technician. If you look back early in the season, Darnell Mooney was killing folks on them seam routes. Go back to that Eagles game and go back to some of those other games earlier in the season. Darnell Mooney was getting his man. So I'm thinking that we're going to get a whole lot of great explosive plays out of Darnell Mooney with Michael Penix, who could definitely stretch the field. Ray, burner, third down ace. He really solidified his position in this offense last year. Cordero Hodge, underrated player. I think he's a 4.3 guy as well. Casey Washington, great rapport with Michael Penix. David Seals, technician. Drake London said that he looked at film of David Seals back whenever he was coming up in college. And Jamal Agnew, special teams ace, who can also take the top off of defense. So I think people sleeping on this defense. I mean, sleeping on this wide receiver room. So B Tuck and Ron, they say A-. ATLG at Faithful says, I like Seals, but why over Blair? Room B+. I ain't mad at that. Rick Smith says B. Georgia Texas boy says, what's the word, Big Low and Falcons family? The new era is here. The Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025 and beyond. Hello, you already know it. Online tuner from New Zealand. I hope you got those leg of lambs ready for me. He says B- outside of London, not so much. Okay, I mean I ain't mad at that. Judy says B. Okay, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. Shouts out to my homeboy Winston Thornton from the eye test. Winston Thornton in here says a wide receiver room is versatile with different sizes and skill sets. That's what I'm talking about, Winston. Always giving me the lowdown. Des Shabazz says, what happened to the Nash kid? He didn't make the cut, bro. He did. I was rooting for him, but he didn't make the cut. And the crazy thing is that one of the reasons why I was really rooting for him is because a lot of people don't know he played tight end a little bit early in his college career. And I was like, well, dang, if something happens while we're talking about it, we could go down to this tight end room. If something happens to Kyle Pitts, and you don't really have a receiving option in Charlie Warner, you could drop Nick Nash down. He could do a lot of those routes that Kyle Pitts is running. Because, they say a lot of times he's going to be lined up in the slot, which I feel like would be perfect for Nick Nash. But, they went ahead and, made the decision, Brother Diz. So look at here. Once again, the decision they make, we supporting it. So tight end room. How are we feeling about the tight end room? You got Kyle Pitts, Charlie Warner, Uncle Steve, Phil Franks. All right. And Tegan Quitoriano. Did I say that right? Quitoriano or Quitoriano? But shouts out to Tegan Quitoriano for making the 53-man roster. A, B, C, D, or F. How are we feeling about the tight end room? What are we thinking? Is it one of those situations where Kyle Pitts is, is such a, such a moving force that it's just an A+ across the board because we know Kyle Pitts is going to go for 1,000 yards this year? Or is it one of those situations where, we're kind of, everybody's still kind of iffy about Kyle Pitts and we're like, hey, coach, we'll see. Y'all let me know. We talking about 112 and talking about Felipe Franks. Uncle Smith, his song for Felipe Franks is Felipe, just call on me and I will be right there. Right here for you. I'll be right here for you. Oh. That's Uncle Steve saying his heart out to Felipe Franks. So y'all let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. What What are y'all giving the tight end room? So let me see what everybody's in here saying. Yeah, I know, Tay, bro. Agnew, he hurt too. I don't know why we keeping all these hurt players, but that's neither here nor there or here and there. Flying Eagle says big gut, but not for a tight end. Okay, I ain't mad at that. B Lane said need some blindside blockers for Michael Penny. You ain't told no lies there. A1 forever. Shouts out to my homeboy A1 in here, Bo. I make sure y'all check my brother out on YouTube. Stefan Schilling said tight ends C-. He says Pitts has been trashed for several years. He better step it up this season. Daggone trash. Goodness gracious. Man, coming back off of an injury. Body Bagum says, bro, Nick Nash is 26 years old. If he's not elite, we don't got time to develop him. I mean, look, I'm not mad at that, Coach. Once again, I'm supporting the logo. Rick Smith says, dang, Big Low, got to catch a rest on the work in the morning. Construction. Hey, look here, Bo. You make sure you get that rest because I need you to stay safe out there on that construction job site. So much love to you, Ricky. B Tuckin, Derek Hughes says they say C+. Okay, I ain't mad at you. Think y'all cheating off each other paper. Flying Eagle says Pitts and Charlie do it this year or catch a bus. Goodness. Anthony White says C. That's contingent on Pitts improving. I'm not mad at that. Brothers, Des Shabazz says D+. Can't trust him. Look, Coach, I'm not objecting to any of that, Bo. DJ Primetime says tight end room. Cause without you, girl, my life is incomplete. Oh yeah. I know that was Cisco, but it went in that situation. A1 Forever says C+. Okay, I ain't mad at that. Mississippi River. I'm sorry, Mississippi Paper. Mississippi Paper in here. Get that paper down there, Mississippi. M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. Shouts out to you. It says B+, B-. Okay. Dirty Bird says C. Okay. Now, I really feel like Charlie Warner is going to get a lot of run time this year because it's one of those cases where everybody's mentioning it. The elephant in the room, the offensive line. Everybody's worried about the blindside blocker for Michael Penix. After Matt Ryan has left, we've all said, hey, we need to get the next guy that's going to help transcend this franchise. So we got Kirk Cousins last year. Kirk Cousins, he pissed himself and got hurt, didn't tell us that he was hurt. That decision kept us out of the playoffs. So moving forward, Michael Penix came in. He did well. Gave us hope this whole offseason. This has been one of the longest offseasons in history because we're ready to see what Michael Penix can do. And then, as training camp is starting to wind down, Caleb McGarry gets hurt. And now we're stuck with Jake Matthews at left tackle, Matthew Bergeron, left guard, Ryan Nuzile, who is the guy who's taken over for Drew Dahlman. So a lot of people are wondering about that. Chris Lindstrom, who's possibly the best guard in the NFL, and Elijah Wilkinson, as of today, at right tackle, who's going to be blocking Michael Penix's blind side. So then you got Jack Nelson, Jovan Gwynn, and Kyle Hinton. So, coaching staff, I want y'all to let me know and tell me the truth now. Be honest with me. Coaching staff doesn't lie, but you won't know unless you give it a try. Y'all let me know. What grade are you giving this offensive line room? A, B, C, D, or F? Y'all tell me what y'all thinking. A, B, C, D, or F. This is the elephant in the room, and this is the one that I was most excited about hearing because I want to know, how optimistic we are about this O-line room. So y'all let me know, how are we feeling about the O-line room? B. Tuckin says C-. Okay. look, I ain't mad at that, B-Tucky. Stephon Schilling says offensive line, C-. We will have some major issues against teams that have strong or dominant pass rushers. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Winston says I'm not a fan of this roster construction at all. Okay. Well, look, Winston, let me know. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me how you feel. McTown 30 in here. He says offensive line C. Money Man says C-. Okay. John Thompson says B. ATLGA Faithful says B. Ray 50 says offensive line C-. Derek Hughes says starting offensive line C-. ATLian says B. DJ Primetime says offensive line B-. Mississippi Paper D. Good grief. Him and Ben Quavy is copying off each other paper. D. Good grief. Daggone. Flying Eagles Fly says A in July, C+ in September. Yes, I'm not mad at that. B Lane says end of regulation after tying the game 24-24. Atlanta got the ball back on the 40, back with 40 seconds left. And 2 timeouts. Penix hit Darnell Mooney for 25 yards, but Morris again didn't call timeout. Daggone. Man, you just taking us through there, B-Lane. Now, Winston says offensive line C- until we find a serviceable replacement until Norton can get back. Okay. Shouts out to my homeboy ATL Skate Man with the C. Nando says F. He says we need the draft to tackle ASAP for depth, Bo. We should have gotten Vincent in the draft. Look here, I don't know if y'all remember me saying this. I was saying, hey, you might want to consider getting somebody a little bit earlier than 7th in the draft. I think they felt like they had a steal with Jack Nelson. And look, Jack Nelson, Wisconsin talent. First of all, you got to be of a certain type of build to play offensive line at Wisconsin or just to play offensive line in college football, period, right? But he has a little bit of development that he needs to be doing. He needs to really work on his game. So I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with you. I feel like we should have took somebody a little bit sooner. But who would have known that we would have loaded up defensively like we did? And that's something that we're definitely going to be looking at as we continue to go through this 53-man roster. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I feel like in this draft coming up next year, I feel like 2 things we're going to be looking at will be offensive line, most notably tackle, a good swing tackle for depth, and wide receiver. I think that first pick, you might take a wide receiver. I'm going to be completely honest. Dre the Box is in here. He says, y'all don't think our new and improved defensive line has pushed these guys up a level or 2 since last year, though? We already had a top run blocking offensive line, and that's true. Also, another thing that you might want to consider is the fact that, think about your coaching. Drake, you got Dwayne Leffert, who, I mean, over the last few years, I would say he might be the best offensive line coach in football, right? I mean, just like you said, we run the ball like it's nobody's business, and I mean, we're creating pretty good pockets in the pass game a lot of times too. Shouts out to Coach Tanisha Higgins in here. Says, what in the world, Bo? A for that first 4D. A for the first 4, D- for the last 3. Okay, I got you. Okay, so A for the first 4, and then for the rest of them, D-. Daggone, Tanisha, you cold-blooded. Daggone. Jamal says starting offensive line B. Offensive line room is a C. So it sounds like we're having issues with depth. It sounds like that's what y'all saying. Georgia Texas boy says New Zealand was the center when we went 6-2, and Kirk torched Tampa Bay. He sure was both times, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something that you got to consider. All right. So what everybody was worried about come draft time, and Terry went in the kitchen and cooked everybody up a good meal. Is what we're gonna go. We're gonna look into moving forward. So defensive line. So these are the interior defenders. Y'all let us know. So we got David Onyemata, Brandon Dorless, Lakel London, Ruka Rororo, and Zach Harrison. Those are your interior defensive linemen. Y'all let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. What are y'all giving this interior defensive line? Matt Town Dirty says, Coach, we're going from sugar to crap fast, Bo. Good grief. Karen says, what in the world, Bo? Says, I'm late to the party. Some surprises with the 53-man roster released today. Hello. Just win week 1, please. No excuses. But sign a trade for a right tackle, please, Terry. Well, look at here. Y'all know when Kerry speaks, everybody listen. So that's something that look, Kerry might be the reason why we end up getting another tackle. Cliff Jackson, he also said it himself. He said, look, trade for a right tackle now, Terry. Quit playing them games. Kerry also says, and please hit that like button, everybody. You hit that like button for me, I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. I will definitely and greatly appreciate it. Look here, I know that y'all already, because I know everyone in here are huge Atlanta Falcons fans, and I'm pretty sure y'all went to all of these other great content creator shows and heard their opinion. But we do it a little bit differently, and we come together in the coaching staff and talk about what we think together. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of your. I hate for this to sound like a job meeting, but I appreciate all of your participation. So defensive line. Let's see. Let's see if everybody's feeling a little bit different about defensive line this year than they did last year. All right. So B Tucker says B plus defensive line. Mississippi Paper says A. Mississippi Paper from Mississippi, but he sounded like OJ the Juice Man. Ron says D line B minus. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to give my rating for the offensive line. I'm giving the offensive line a C. Because there are a few undetermineds that are in there. Even though New Zealand, played well as a backup, some guys are just good backups opposed to starters. And that whole right tackle situation is a huge question mark. So I'm giving the offensive line a C. But we're talking about the defensive line right now. Flying Eagle says B, okay, for that defensive line. John Thompson says A, says I'm excited for this group. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, John. Ben Quavius in here says B. Trey Purdy says I'm surprised that Simeon kid didn't make it. He's talking about Simeon out of Miami, who had the highest PFF was it pressure rate or pass rush grade in the preseason for an interior defender. Hopefully we can bring him back on the practice squad. Tanisha says, I'm gonna give him a C. Okay, I ain't mad at that, Tanisha. I ain't mad at that. Anthony White says, Matt Town Dirty, if we went from sugar to crap, because of a few injuries, the Falcons ain't that good anyway. Good grief. Man, Matt Town Dirty says D-line, I give him a B. Nando says B minus. We should have kept the Burrow kid, though. Yes, I'm not mad at that. B Lane says no depth. Okay. Dre says Blaine Pass been getting good pressure. Look at the practices over the preseason. We were beyond vanilla. Also, Winston says, how do we get D-line with only 5 players? How does that make sense when we have a full 3 rotation at edge? And, that's a question that whenever I was talking with T-Will, A1 Forever, Jack, and Kerry earlier today, I was kind of surprised that we only had 5 guys in there as far as the defensive line rotation. I remember Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich, they mentioned that, we were going to be rotating guys in and out. And look, I definitely, I'm not mad at this group. I feel like Lakel London, I feel like he's a huge sleeper. David Onyemata, we've seen what he's capable of doing. The question is, is he going to be able to stay healthy? And Brandon Dorless, Brandon Dorless and Root and Zach Harrison are the guys that we're looking at and we're hoping they have that upside, right? So me myself for the interior defensive line room, I'm going to say C. Because once again, we have a lot of undetermineds, a lot of question marks. So I'm going to say C as far as that defensive line room. Jamal says D-line B plus, says I believe in Nate Ollie. And look, that is one thing that you got to consider. Coach Carey also says 74 likes, but 145 watching. Come on, y'all. Run those likes up, please. If you ain't doing a favor for me, do a favor for Carey. Hit that like button. Anthony White says interior D-line. I'm going to say C, but it's just a fix. Most of the room is young and inexperienced, and that's pretty much where I'm at. Anthony White. Carlton Turner says B minus. Not big on Yamada fan, but I feel Zach Harrison will have a breakout year along with Rook and Dorless. And those are the guys that I was mentioning that I feel like they have that huge upside. Kevin O'Connor, B minus, Chris White, C, Dre the Boxer, B plus. Ken Amal says, I'm worried about the size of the D-line. And that was one of those things where, Morgan Fox was supposed to come in, but Lakel London, I think they said he's up like around 310, 320 now. He put on a good bit of weight, and Anyamata, he's just strong as all get out. So, that's something that you got to take into consideration. All right. The part that a lot of people are probably most excited about, since this is the part where we had the most movement at, the big splashes in the offseason, if you will, the edge rushers, right? We went from being the first line in Project Pat them song. We went from being bald head scallywags with no edges to having some edges moving forward. So, on a scale of A, B, C, D, or F, your grade scale, what grade will you give the new and improved edges of the Atlanta Falcons with Arnold Ebiketie, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Braylon Trice, who can play inside as well because he's like 270, 275, I think 278, and D'Angelo Malone, who's also playing in the middle. So what grade are y'all giving these new and improved edges? They can't look at us no more and be like, bald head, scallywag, ain't got no hair in the back, jailed up, weed up. They can't say that to us no more. They can't say that to us. We got some edges now, Bo. Oh, man. Will Amy's in here. He was another one of those, man. Get naked. Will Amy's in here getting naked again. I think he's DeMarco Helms' agent. He said DeMarco Helms be get first team reps. Will, make sure you put clothes on. It's a family show. You can't just be coming in here just getting naked for folks. Now you look here. You can't be doing that. Oh man. So let's see what they're saying. B Tucker's in here, says A minus for the edges. Tanisha says, I love my edges. A. That's what I'm talking about, Tanisha. Kenzel Goodrum says, Big Low, what's up, man? I can't believe they cut Joshua Simons and put Felipe Franks on the roster. I'm playing that they put the boy on the practice squad. I'm hoping he clears waivers. But I was surprised that it happened too. We also got another Superman chat. Coach Willie Dot says, Big Low, with McGarry out, and with our questionable D-line and linebacker depth, can we still get the second wild card? I'll hang up and listen. And I'll give you that. Da-da-da! That's a Superman chat. Shouts out to you, Willie Dot. I think we can. I think we can win the division, Willie Dot. I feel like 10th Bay's getting older. And I feel like it's one of those situations where the Panthers aren't as good as they think they are. And New Orleans has been they're going to be wandering aimlessly around the bayou. They're going to be mad whenever they hope that Arch Manning comes out of the draft next year, but he decides not to come out. So I think we can win the division. I don't think we're going to be worried about that second wild card spot. But I said things like this in the past, Willie Dot. And we see how it's ended up, right? So look, at the end of the day, we're gonna see. Shouts out to my homeboy King Richie, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out King Richie. He's making content on YouTube as well. Great content, great first show, Bo. I meant to tell you that. A1 Sauce, he says Tony Wright's in here laughing. He's probably having dinner or something with Roddy White and Julio Jones. John Thompson says, so we gelled up and weaved up now, Bo. No, we was gelled up and weaved up back then. We didn't have no edges. It was hard times back then. But now, we good to go. Jamal says Edge might not be the best group. A-. Okay. I'm sorry. He says Edge might be the best group. A-. Okay. Money Man says Edge A. Hello. Carrie says A- for the edge room. I'm very happy with the depth of edge rusher. This is the best edge room we've had in years. Yes, 1,000 times yes. B. Carlin says B. Maybe turn out to be A, but there's too many unknowns, and I'm not mad at that. Mississippi Paper says big old A, Bo. I love it. Ben Quavia says A on paper, and I'm glad that you say on paper. Flying Eagle says B- because unproven and still as a unit. ATL says B+. B for bully ball. Hello. I love it. Winston says B+ until proven. Okay. Antoine Wartime's in here with the A. Ron says A alpha. I'm sorry, all alpha types. Okay. I thought he was saying A is an alpha. That's what I thought you were saying. ATL Faithful says edge and linebackers look strong. A. Okay. Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that ATL Faithful, because Jalen Walker, y'all know based off of what Jeff Ulbrich said, Jalen Walker at the beginning of the season, they're going to be running him at edge. And then, they'll work him and put him in some reps at middle linebacker to see how he's looking. But starting off, Jalen Walker is going to be at edge. But we know naturally he's an edge and he's a middle and he's a linebacker. I feel like he's pretty much a Caden Ellis, but they really want to make sure that he's able to get after the quarterback until we get some more edges. And then you're just going to have, guys that can get after the quarterback from anywhere on the field. And that's going to be very dangerous. Kelvin O'Connor says edge, easy A. AK is going to get at least 10 sacks. Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Kelvin. So y'all let us know in the comments, how many sacks do y'all think Arnold Ebiketie is going to get this year? Because this is a contract year for him. And what did he get last year? Did he get 8 last year, if I'm not mistaken, or 7? But I know at the end of the season, he was on fire. So y'all let us know how many sacks y'all think Arnold Ebiketie is going to get. I mean, it seems like 70% or more of the people in here saying that, you got a edge rusher room. How many sacks y'all think Arnold Ebiketie is going to get? Now, I was listening to somebody, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been T. Will and Kerry, and they were talking about, they were trying to predict how many sacks we would get this season. And they were saying, basically, if that edge rushing team gets 25 sacks, so let's see, you got 2, 4, 6. So let's say 4.5 sacks apiece. Out of all of those guys, if they get 25 and you get 15 from your linebackers and your defensive backs, that's 40 sacks. And a 40 sack season, that's great for us, right? If we could get 40 sacks, I'm more than happy. So Gone, he says he don't like D'Angelo Malone. But see, the thing about D'Angelo Malone is he's a special teams guy, and he could also play linebacker, because just like Coach Willie Dock mentioned a little bit earlier, people are worried about the linebacker depth. So I mean, that's something that you definitely got to consider. McTown Dirty says edge A. Hello. Flying Eagle says 10. Because he'll have help now. Talk about Arnold Ebiketie. Will Amy says he'll have 10 sacks. John Thompson thinks he'll have 10 sacks. Mississippi paper says AK will have 9 to 10 sacks. Look, if Arnold Ebiketie can get you 10 sacks, do y'all know how impactful that'll be for this defense? If you have a double-digit sack guy, that will be huge. We also got another Superman chat. I got to read this like my homeboy, Big John. He said, I still needs 2 fat, stinking, bubbly, gas stomach, trunk leg down by the law criminals on D-line that want quarterbacks in the blue tent every down. Shouts out to my homeboy, Big John Harris, man. Shouts out to him running the eye test over there. If you want good late night Atlanta Falcons content, make sure that you check out Winston and John on the eye test. Great conversation, great debate. And that's also that. Dun-da-da! That's a Superman chat. Look here. If y'all think I'm country, John Higgins. Y'all think I'm country, John Harris country. Shouts out to the fan, man. Look, man, that's family right there, boy. Oscar Ball says, I see Arnold leading the team in sacks with about 8 to 10 sacks. He's not the main character no more, so I can see him thrive. And look, I definitely agree with that. And also, you think about it, whenever they kind of changed their defensive philosophy a little bit for those, what was that, like 2 or 3 games last season, like Arnold Ebiketie, he was getting after it, right? Now you got a little bit more of an aggressive coach and Jeff Ulbrich. I feel like he could, really do it big, and dare I say, possibly have a fringe Pro Bowl year. I would dare to say that. Sometimes things just need to add up. You got help. It's a contract year for you. When things like that add up, how many times have we seen it? People be on that contract year, they're in a perfect situation. Next thing you know, Pro Bowl year. Like, oh, this is the first time they're making the Pro Bowl, and they're a free agent. We've seen it happen so many times. Tanisha says, as long as Penix read those defenses and Ulbrich confuse and abuse offenses, we'll make the postseason. That's what I'm talking about, sis. Also, that's that da-da-da. That's a Superman chat. I definitely agree with you in that regard. Man, boy, you ain't never lied about that, boy. Charles Haley was one of my favorite players growing up. Chris Tyler says he led the league in sacks those games after the bye week till he started double teaming and chipping them. Now he has help on the opposite side. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Definitely. Dirty Bird 86 says, what do they see in D. Alford? Well, you know what? We're going to get there. We're going to get there because it feels like D. Alford for a lot of my older school Atlanta Falcons fans. I think D. Alford has turned into the present day Chris Owens. If y'all don't remember Chris Owens, back in the what was that, the 2010s? Boy, Chris Owens always stayed on the team, but everybody be talking about, man, Chris Owens is always getting burnt, but he was the fastest man on the field. He literally saved the game for us one time against the Minnesota Vikings. I think it was like Percy Harvin. He was running the kick return back, and Chris Owens like hawked him down. It was like he was running for his job. All right, so moving forward. Inside linebackers. Got Kaden Ellis, Divine Diablo, J.D. Bertrand, Josh Woods. A, B, C, D, or F. What grade are we giving the inside linebackers? Y'all let me know what y'all are thinking. Now, Kaden Ellis should have went to the Pro Bowl last year. I mean, let's keep it a book. He should have went to the Pro Bowl. Divine Diablo, a lot of people are saying in this offense, it's the perfect situation for him. I think before last season, he led the Raiders in tackles. And if I'm not mistaken, he got hurt last season, but he was on pace to lead the Raiders in tackles last year. So the thing about Divine Diablo, everybody's saying that if you could build a linebacker for this scheme, it would be him. Tall, long arms, fast, twitchy. But the thing is that can you play that linebacker position? Can you fill them gaps? Can you spill the way that you need to, when you need to, and out in that open space? Like, just because you're fast don't mean that, don't mean that you're going to be perfect at it, because we done seen a lot of fast guys just be in the wrong place, i.e. Troy Anderson, right? So let's see what we got here. Inside linebackers, what grade are we giving? A, B, C, D, or F? Ron says, inside linebackers I'm concerned about our ability to stop a running ball control offense. And Bertrand should have been cut, can't cover backs, and can't stop the run. Daggone. Goodness gracious. Chris Howard, he talked about D. Offer. He said D. Offer on the team is a favor for the front office to Robert Offer for his years of service to the Falcons. Daggone. Robert Offer got a job too. Don't forget about that. Robert Offer, he's on the the Falcons report. Oscar Ball says, I will never forget the playoff game in 2010. Aaron Rodgers, when he picked on Chris Owens all game. Man, I remember that. That was, man, look, we should have went to the Super Bowl that year. Money Man says JD Bertrand is an F. The rest is cool. Good grief. Man, y'all don't like old JD Bertrand, do you? Look, JD ain't doing that. He's just living his life. Mississippi Paper says linebackers B+. Matt Dirty says inside linebackers B. And I forgot to give y'all my grade for the edge rushers. For the edge rushers, I'm giving a B+. There's still a lot of unknowns out there. I got to see what it's talking about, right? So I'm going to give it a B+. I feel like we have a potential to get 27 sacks with that group, which is really good. But I'm giving the edge rushers a B+. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know my mind be all over the place. It'd be hard for me and Coach Ron to have conversations sometimes because it'd be hard for me to focus. I'd be focused on the wrong stuff. Tanisha says, I love the linebackers except Captain America, a.k.a. J.D. Bertrand. He hits with his head, B+. Okay. Coach Carey says, inside linebackers, not a lot of depth, and I'm very surprised that J.D. Bertrand made the roster. I hope we can stop the run better than last season. It's a C+ for me. Did she hit him with the Randy Jackson? I'm sorry, dog. It's a C+ for me. I feel like she did. Inside linebackers, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm giving it a B, a smooth. Well, how the kids say, a smooth B. I'm going to give it a smooth B. And the reason why I'm going to give it a B is because it's one of them situations where, the ceiling is so high. But I think, J.D. Bertrand, everybody's kind of stuck on the J.D. Bertrand. But the guy that everybody was talking about in the preseason is on the roster. Josh Woods is on the roster. So, I give it a B. I just don't know what Divine Diablo's going to do. I know that they've been gassing him up, and he's been flying under the radar. But Divine Diablo, that's going to be the deciding factor for me. Right. And the crazy thing is, at the end of the season, whenever we get together, we have our postseason coaches meeting, and we'll say, man, so what do y'all think about Divine Diablo? How y'all feel like he did this year? Y'all being here being like, yeah, man, give that man an A. He deserves, coach. You should have gave him an A at the beginning of the season. My bad, y'all. I was wrong. Look, I'll admit when I was wrong. Chris Tyler says B because we have no depth. Nando says inside linebackers, B. Walker has to be included in this group for it to be an A. Okay, I ain't mad at that. Dirty Bird says B. Winston Thornton says A-. If Diablo shows up, Montana Troy can mosey down the yellow brick road for all I care. Goodness gracious, boy. Y'all just, man, yeah. And look, I forgot to include the guys that's on the PUP list. You got Troy Anderson on the PUP list. So, that might be something that you may want to consider. I'm surprised Morgan Fox got let go too, Will Amy. But I think they just see so much in Dorless and Root where they were like, hey, we got to go ahead and, we got to move on. We got to go ahead and move on. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I said I was going to use some 112 references, and I haven't used none for like the last few minutes. I'll find an opportunity. Matt Town Dirty says, JD, get off my lawn. Goodness gracious. Man, Y'all just give that man such a hard time. King Richard says, I like Bertrand. I just think he's sort of small. Look, the thing that intrigued me about JD Bertrand, and I finna make a King Richie type analysis. So one thing about King Richie is he listens to everything and he applies it, right? So if there's something that somebody said in a previous press conference that everybody else didn't catch, King Richie's that guy that reminds you of what you didn't catch. So, mind you, last year, I think it was Raheem Morris talking about J.D. Bertrand, and he was saying that J.D. Bertrand was one of the smartest rookies that came out in the draft that year, not just for the Falcons, but period, right? And he talked about how J.D. Bertrand was a student of the game, and he could see him being a coach one day. And look, the thing is that we've seen many guys who are so smart, students of the game, but they're not players, right? And we don't know because J.D. Bertrand's story isn't done yet, but he may be one of those situations where it's like, you know, he might not be a player, but he might be a good student of the game. He might be a Kyle Shanahan, right? Anthony White says, it's a C for the inside linebacker room. The fact that J.D. Bertrand is still in there, it's crazy to me. Look, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. King Richard says, Diablo is Deion Jones 2.0. Also, did y'all know that Deion Jones just got named the starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That's who we're going to be playing week 1. Deion Jones is going to be the Mike linebacker for Tampa Bay week 1 because they had like some injuries and Deion Jones is taking first team reps now. The more you know, right? The more you know. All right. So let's go on down here to cornerback. This was a big hot button topic. What do y'all think about the cornerback room? I also want to ask y'all, what do y'all think about hitting that like button? If you hadn't hit that like button, make sure that you do. If you could, make sure you do a country boy a favor and hit that like button. If you hit that like button for me, I promise I'll dance at your wedding one day. Hey, I ain't lying. William, hey, that man is the Deion Jones right now. He's the starting middle linebacker for Tampa Bay. Go look it up. All right, Mike, what in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? Hope you're doing good tonight. So, cornerbacks, the cornerback room. What do y'all feel like? What grade are we giving them? A, B, C, D, or F? Coaching staff, I need some answers. You got AJ Terrell, you know, the clear-cut number 1 cornerback on this team. You got Mike Hughes, who a lot of people say, you know, he's, you know, some people say he's underrated. Some people say he's overrated. But we know that he's the number 2 cornerback on this team. You got Billy Bowman. And the thing about Billy Bowman is you can play him anywhere. You can drop him in the slide. I don't know what else rhymes with slide. But Chop 112 reference. You can play him anywhere. I'm telling y'all, man, I heard that 112 going on the concert, you know, in the next couple of months. I was in there washing dishes singing all the 112 songs, boy. I love you in the shower. Both of our bodies dripping on a patio. We can make a night you won't forget. I was jamming, boy. What you talking about now? Billy Bowman's going to be the starting slot or star quarterback for this cornerback for this team. Then you got Clark Phillips, who was a little bit of a surprise. Then you got D. Alford, who a lot of people were very surprised. Mike Ford, special teams ace. Natron Brooks, who was balling out through training camp and balling out through in the playoffs. I mean, preseason. So A, B, C, D, or F. What grade are we giving the cornerbacks? That's right, Jay. It's looking like Billy Bowman's going to be the starting nickel cornerback. Can't beat it. Phillips says, I'll be doggone low. Deion Jones starting for the Bucs as well. I'm telling you, y'all go look it up. Y'all got look. I would look it up, but you know, I'm tied up. You know, I'm trying to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's. But yes, 1,000 times yes. Deion Jones is starting middle linebacker. King Richard says, I'm gonna hold you to that dance at my wedding, low. Whenever I find a wife, look here, I got you, King. Just let me know. Dancing shoes on, Bo. Miller Gang says, I don't understand what they see in D Alford. He gets smoked all the time. Like, you should just go ahead and put me out there, coach. Dad, go, man. William Amy says, A+. I told Birdcage that Jordan Fuller was booty juice. Dang, booty juice? Good grief. Now, just because you get naked for DeMarco Helms, don't mean that man booty juice, Will Amy. Come on now. Oh, man. Chris Tyler says, I'd say C, just because after AJ is lacking except for Bowman, we don't know what he's got yet. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Ray 50 says, I think D Alford is better outside cornerback than nickel. I agree with you in that regard. I feel like nickel is just a little bit too much space for him. But, you know, we've seen situations where, you know, there have been times when D Alford was a sure tackler, and that's one of the biggest assets, especially in today's NFL and today's football, what it's like being a sure tackler. Because nowadays that nickel cornerback or that star cornerback, he's essentially like a linebacker that can cover, right? If you look at especially these more aggressive defenses, it's one of those situations where they're always up around the line of scrimmage because they're bringing those guys in on blitzes a whole lot more than they used to back in the day. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, coaching staff. That's one thing that I'm worried about with Billy Bowman. Billy Bowman Sr., if I see you at the Benz, please don't beat me up because he's a lot bigger than I am. But one thing that I've heard is that people have said Billy Bowman, he's not a sure tackler. Now, mind you, Coach Raheem Morris, DB's coach, it might be one of them situations where he could really get them guys, coach those guys up to, teach them, better technique and tackling and how to come back, tackle these bigger bigger running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends whenever he does have to come up. But I've heard that Billy Bowman, he's not a sure tackler. So that's something that you definitely got to keep an eye on. Will Amy says, Deion Jones be lost in space. He can't guard Bijan Robinson. Look here, Bo. That's what I'm hoping is the case. Maggie T Productions in here. What's going on, Maggie? Hope you're doing good tonight, fam. Tanisha says, man, I just don't know. All depends on placement on the field and scheme. And you're definitely right about that. Ibrahim says, praying we wake up to some tackle moves. I don't know. As a matter of fact, we're going to go over that in a little bit. Flying Eagle says, cornerback room forever a C+. I'm not mad at that. Me, myself, I'm going to get the quarterback room a B, right? Because you do have AJ. Mike Hughes in a worse scheme was fairly productive. He was fairly productive. So with Billy Bowman, what I think he could bring to that star cornerback room, especially in coverage, being a former safety, and like I said, you can play him anywhere. It's one of those situations where I really feel like that's a huge plus to the cornerback room. Clark Phillips, we really can't say what Clark Phillips is yet because the scheme that Clark Phillips played in last year wasn't to his benefit. The year before that, I mean, we couldn't get after the quarterback. So I can see these cornerbacks being a whole lot more productive than they have been in years past, especially if it's like we were talking about earlier and those edge rushers could get 25 plus sacks. If that's the case, we in there like swimwear, Bo. Shouts out Coach Christy in here. What's going on, Christy? Hope you're doing good tonight, fam. All right, safety room. A, B, C, D, or F. What we thinking about this safety room? Safety room. How we feeling? Are we feeling like Jesse Bates and Xavier Watts? And is Will Amy still? Will Amy, are you still in the chat? DeMarco Helms, because we know how naked you've been getting the last 2-3 weeks. DeMarco Helms is in here. Will Amy. I hope he gives you your commission. How we feeling about the safety room? How we feeling about it? Let's see. Coach Kevin says you're right. NB, how did Agnew make the cut? Agnew, man, he's a return ace, bro. He's a return ace. He's a wide receiver that can return. So, I mean, he's a Pro Bowl return guy. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that he made the squad. I'm not surprised at all. Safety room, what we thinking? What we thinking? There you go, Christy. Rise up. You already know what time it is. Brandon's in here. Brandon says, I don't like that Felipe Franks is on this roster. Don't say that too loud. Because Uncle Steve going to come somewhere where you at and beat you up. Uncle Steve T will. He says, over Blair? Franks better be the best blocking tight end in the league this year. Look at here. We're gonna see. One thing about Felipe Franks, let's be honest, he played quarterback. I mean, I think that's what got him in there. He's committed to playing special teams. He played quarterback in college for 5-6 years. I mean, once again, Terry Fontenot, Raheem Morris, they like those guys that can't play anywhere. I can love you in the South. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's it kind of is what it is. Chris Tyler says safety room, he's giving it an A. Okay, I'm not mad at that. King says B- for the safety room. So he says they had Hughes on the outside. That's why he was good. But where he's great at, Tanisha? Okay. Matt Time Dirty says cornerbacks B, even better with some pass rush. Okay. Brandon says safety room B+. Okay. Did I get my grade on the cornerbacks? I say B for the cornerback. I think I did. Mississippi Paper says Jesse Bates alone A++. Man, you know what? That looked like one of my papers back when I was in school, bro. A+ all day long. I would make it A+. Money Man says, thought we at least keep 4, but I guess cool. Once again, Money Man, Billy Bowman, who they got listed as a cornerback, he played safety in college. So, I mean, look, it's one of those situations where he could do it all. Dre Harrison says, Bates, Helms, and Watts, B-. Daggone. Tanisha says B+, not enough depth. Will Amy, of course, he says A+ because he's naked. It's a good thing he don't got his camera on because he'd probably be on his phone, butt naked. Keith says the cornerback room get a B. Okay. Jamal says safety room A. Matt Town Dirty says safety room A. Raymond Collins, what in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? He says ready to talk, Bo, but I'll wait. What's going on, man? Well, you a fool. Hope you keeping the cool down there, the 9-1 dudes. Keith No Sweat says the safety room A+. Nando says safety A. Okay. Just roll tide, Hitman Helms has to be in big nickel packages, Bo. He said we need that physicality on the field much as possible. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at him running nickel packages. I mean, running big nickel packages. I'm not mad at that at all. Kevin O'Connor says safety B+, but only 3. Well, once again, you essentially have 4 because don't forget you have Billy Bowman, who's listed as a cornerback, right? Christy Lewis says Felipe is the comeback kid, tight end and quarterback. I'm not mad at it. We also got another Superman chat. Iron Mike says, I think I like tweet. I'm getting naked. Oh my! Well, wait a minute. What in the world? No, tweet. Don't do that. Oops, there goes my shirt up over my. No, don't be like that. Oh my, da. That's a Superman chat. This man, the doggone. I'm turning red. Let this be. Don't be like that, Bo. And the White says safety room A. Okay, I'm gonna give the safety room a B+ because once again, Xavier Watts, he's an unknown. Let's be honest. Now, after looking at this defensive room, guys, does this defense kind of remind you of the 2016 Atlanta Falcons when we had all them rookies and young Thundercats running all over the field. So you got your Billy Bowmans, you got your Xavier Watts. These are 2 starters from the way it's looking. Then you got your James Pierces, your Jalen Walkers, who are going to be getting significant time. This feels a lot like 2016. Feels a lot like 2016. Hopefully it's one of them situations where they could be even more productive than those guys their rookie year, because those guys showed up big for us. Jay says B for now, because we still have to see it in action. And look, I'm not mad at what you're saying in that regard. My homeboy Ray 50 says, I think they go play Helms same at linebacker in the dime scheme. Man, I ain't going to lie to you, but I'm scared of that. I ain't running across the middle on that. I'm not running across the middle on that. Silk Legacy says, what you talking about, Lo? Man, I'm sitting here talking about how I used to be able to yeet dance better than you back in the day, Silk Legacy. That's what I was sitting here talking about. Like, look here, Bo. Back in the early 90s, 80s, I used to whoop up on Silk Legacy doing them yeet dances. I showed enough with telling them. Reggie says, I'm going to say B overall. Well, I tell you what, we still got one more thing we need to talk about. Family, and that is the specialist. So you got Cool. Cool is still here. Lenny Leg got released. So Cool is the punt. Cool is the kicker. Bradley Pinion, who was a lot of people don't give him his flowers. That's the punter. And my homeboy Liam McCullough. Shouts out to Liam, man. I need to check up on Liam, see how his brother's doing. But Liam McCullough, the long snapper. I mean, how we feeling about specialist room? Is it one of them situations where Koo, that last preseason game, Koo kind of rubbed you the wrong way, or how y'all feeling about that? Keith No Sweat said we're gonna be sneaky good. Look at here, Bo. Look at here, Bo. It's legit there. Nando says D-. I want a Lenny Leg. Dang, gone. Flying Eagle says Cool. I don't know. Brandon says faith in Cool is fleeting. Dang, gone. Dang, gone. Well, specialist group, I'm finna give it a smooth B, because Liam McCullough, no one's ever had to speak negatively about Liam McCullough because he always does his job. Bradley Pinion is, one of the best punters in the NFL. And I mean, Cool, until we see what Cool can do, I'm finna give the team overall a B. That special teams group, I'm finna give them a B. Body Back says Cool is the guy. But I don't get why remove the insurance. Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those situations where Raheem Morris said, hey, I'm not trying to, get in Cool's head, having Lenny Leg right behind him and, kind of make him nervous. Chris Tyler says a D-. Cool is still struggling from the right hash. Pinion is good. But they need to keep Lenny close and on standby. Look, I completely agree with you, Coach. Jamal says, I'm out on Cool. He was missing in preseason, picking up where he left off last year and the year before that. He's on the decline. I don't know. Tanisha said, what in the world, Bo? Says, why they let Lenny go and kept Alfred and Bertrand? Sad look. B+. Dang, gone. Man, y'all just ain't gonna let them get over letting go D. Alfred and Bertrand, are you? Y'all are in y'all feelings about that. Man. Well, look, at the end of the day, it might be one of them situations where, we'll look back on it, and after we get in these playoffs and we look back and say, hey, I'm not mad at them keeping Bertrand and D. Alford. I mean, we could legitimately say that, gang. Right? We could legitimately say that. Dre Murphy's in here, says, put Lenny Craig on the practice squad, beloved. Hello, what's going on, Dre? Hope you're doing good, man. Ricky Reese says, cool is shaky. Good grief. Man. Well, look here, I do need y'all to do a cut your boy favor, though. In the meantime, even though cool shaky, one thing that doesn't have to be shaky is that like button. If you could do a cut your boy favor, hit that like button. Also, if this is your first time chilling out with us or you haven't yet, you can hit that subscribe button for me. If you hit that subscribe button for me and you need, your gutters clean, I can make sure to give Jack Spade a call. And in his free time, he'll come by and clean your gutters out for you. If you could do that for me, I would definitely and greatly appreciate it. Also, like I said, hit that like button, share the channel with your friends and family, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss us, because we kind of jump on like sporadically. we don't necessarily have a schedule. I kind of flow with the wind. Oh man. Y'all are crazy. Anthony White says specialist room B. And that's kind of where I'm at. Collins BK says Magic City after the W. There you go. Well, everybody normally go to Reverb. Reverb need to throw me a couple dollars. But everybody normally go to Reverb. That's where everybody normally go. Oh man, Brandon says I subscribe. Wait a minute. But my gut is good, boss. Okay, all right, okay, good, okay. Well, look, it's just a matter of time. Fall is right around the corner, so just give me a call. I got you. I need to clean my gutters. So overall, coaching staff, y'all let me know, what do y'all think as far as overall how this Atlanta Falcons team is looking? This 53-man roster. I know we went over every position group, and I had a great time doing it with you. But overall, what do you feel like? What do you feel like we should be at? A, B, C, D, or F? Whenever you look at this squad overall, I just want to know what y'all are thinking. If y'all feel like it's one of them situations where we're a B, or we a B minus, B plus, C plus. If you feel like we're a D, I just want to, and take into account the grades that you put, in there earlier. And Brandon, I apologize if I didn't say it, but thank you so much for subscribing. I definitely do apologize if I didn't say that earlier. Thank you so much for subscribing, Brandon, Deshaun, and everybody else who subscribed. Thank y'all so much. So y'all let us know overall. And if you're watching the show after we go live already, make sure you put in the comments to let us know overall, where do you feel like this team is when it comes to their overall grade with this 53-man roster. If you feel like we missed some opportunities, with the Chris Blairs of the world, or if you feel like we missed the opportunity with the Kobe Bryant or Simeon Barrow or Nick Nash, Joshua Simon, you feel free to express that to us as well. I mean, because look, you can tell me, right? And maybe whenever I see Terry, I'll be like, hey, Terry, I just want to let you know, Brandon Deshaun, King 7, Dre Murphy, they said they ain't like this, that, the third now. Because, I see Terry every now and then. Whenever I go to the suite, I'll be like, hey, Terry, let me holler at you right quick. Oh, man. All right, Brandon Deshaun, King 7, they both say B minus. They cheating off each other paper. They both saying B minus. Okay. Dre Murphy, he says, I hate with a freaking passion Chris Blair or Nick Nash didn't make the team, though, beloved. Hello, man. Look, you already know, man. Nick Nash, that was my boy, dog. I'm like, Dad, come on, Nick. I was getting naked just like old Will Amy was for DeMarco Hill. Ebron says B minus, lots of potential, but equal amount of question marks. Lack of depth, a lot riding on Penix, if Penix hits, and if the rookies deliver. That's a great synopsis, Ebron. Mississippi Paper says, let's play some football. B. Tanisha Higgins says B minus. Okay. Body Bagman says, this is a playoff team. Trust the process. Ricky Reese says B minus because of Franks. Dang, dog, go Felipe. Dang, Phil just messing everybody up. Flying Eagle says, kind of like week number 1 is a playoff game. B+. Okay. King 7 says, anyone says A, need to get off that stuff. Dang, come! Now we accusing people of substance abuse. Good grief. Big Wavy says D for D offer. Wow. Diesel said we need some weapons. I'm not mad at that at all. Nando says overall C-. We have a whole lot to prove on the field. I only see 9 wins max out of this roster. Bo, I don't like it. Look here, and the crazy thing is that's what you said at the beginning, right? You mentioned that at the beginning that you didn't like the way that this 53-man roster was put together. You said you seen 9 wins, and after we went through every position group, you're standing on it, and I'm not mad at that, Coach. Diesel says C+. Okay, Body Bagum says I'm telling you now, Kobe Bryant not good. I told y'all that. Look, I remember you saying that earlier. Now, I remember you saying that earlier. Carrie, she's in here laughing at, so I ain't no telling what Carrie in here laughing at. Carrie probably sleepy. Victor says, Victor Gray says, we're going to the bowl. We got depth, right coaches, right players. A+. That's what I'm talking about, Vic. Get in there, Bo. Get in there, Bo. Silk Legacy says, Lo, I can dance better than you with one leg. Silk, come on now. We all. Come on, Silk. Don't be like that, Bo. Oh, man. Eric Allen's in here. What in the world? But no, Eric, you are not late, my friend. You are right on time. You are not late. You are right on time, my friend. Ramiro says he's worried about Jalen Walker. Tell us why you're worried about Jalen Walker, Bo. I definitely want to look. Let me know if there's something this is the coaching staff. We all get together and kick ideas around. Let us know, because that could be something that we could all look out for. Ramiro also says Ebiketie looks nice too, though hopefully he picks up where he left off. And that's what we're all hoping. We're saying a lot of people thinking that he could get between 8 to 10 sacks. If he could do something like that, man, that would be a huge boost for this defense. Brandon says, bag him. He's saying the rookies got to come through for us to be successful. Separate from Penix. His grammar just bad. Well, you talk about me, I know my grammar bad. Look, my wife an English major. So she let me know all the time my grammar bad. Oh man, boy. Let's see. Jamil says, Lo, who gonna step up at right tackle? What's the best and worst situation in your opinion? So, all right, so I need to watch some tape on the Terrell kid that we got from Seattle. I know that he started his first game against us whenever Seattle came and kicked us in between the washing machine and the dryer last year. I knew that they threw the ball all over us, but I got to go back and watch that game in particular to see how he performed and see, exactly what they got going on. And then, Elijah Wilkinson, look, Elijah Wilkinson, he had a shaky second preseason game. Let's keep it a buck. He had a shaky preseason game, but I know a lot of it was false starts and things like that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he got that much playing time last year at all. So maybe it's a situation where he was rusty. They held him out for that third preseason game. He's going to be getting first team reps and getting acclimated with the squad moving forward. So I'm thinking it might be one of those cases where, he can really put together something positive, and, really build that strong nucleus, just like they did once again in 2016, whenever they got Adam Levitri and Chris Chester, along with Wes Schweitzer and Jake Matthews and Alex Mack. They could do that. We'll definitely be good. My homeboy Lario, he says, what's going on, Falcons fam? I love y'all. Shouts out to Lario, man. One of the biggest Atlanta Falcons fans I know, coming out of Macon, Georgia Bowl. Look, we ain't got nothing but love for you, man. Can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks, Bo. Miller Mill says, Lo, I think JPJ going to have about 4 to 6 sacks. but his assists and hurries are going to be unreal. AK should definitely, and that's what I'm thinking as well too. I think it's going to be some situations where he almost gets there, but they're going to cause turnovers, kind of like in that second preseason game. If that's the case, I'll take that more than a sack any day. Like, yeah, it's cool getting a sack and, celebrating, our defense, basically beating your offense on that play. But it being a situation where it forces a turnover, it forces an interception or a fumble, I'll take that all day. All day. King 7 says Jalen Walker got that hammy and groin issue. Shaking my head, that followed most all season. Hopefully it's one of them situations where this little bit of rest that he's getting now, he'll be good to go. But I'm definitely hoping that it's not going to be the case. Definitely hoping that it's not going to be the case. Brent said, ain't nobody talking about you. Okay, I just wondered. I didn't know if y'all talking about me or not. I'll just make sure. My bad. I know my English bad. Look, I don't even say English right. I say English. Trey says, Coach Lowe, a.k.a. Beloved, you heard anything about if Darnell Mooney going to be ready to come back week 1? If not, who you taking this or who you got taking this spot? Me personally, I say that bad man, Hodge. Some people say Casey Washington. I think it might be a little bit of both, but from what I'm hearing, the whispers that I'm hearing, people are saying that they think it might be one of those cases where Darnell Mooney will be back. So, we'll, it's one of them cases where we'll see, Bo. We'll definitely see. Yes, we'll, Amy. More turnovers and more sacks this year. Clown says 125. That's what I'm talking about, coaching staff. 125 likes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Bo. Get in there. Man, shouts out to the coaching staff, Bo. Shouts out to the coaching staff. 125 likes. Yes, sir. You love to see it. You love to see it. Oh, man. I love it, man. I love it. But look at here, Bo. Coach Ronnie just came in here, and I think she's going to get ready to tell me that I need to get ready to go to bed so I can make some money tomorrow.
I just can't get some water.
Oh, you can't get some water? Oh, okay. Okay. Look here, I thought. Okay. No, she came here with a hand on her hips. I like, see, I'm in trouble. I can't play with my friends.
You start talking about me as soon as I walked in.
Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna be like, you can't play with your friends no more. You gotta go to bed. Yeah, But okay, all right. But yeah, so as far as me overall, I'm gonna say this 53-man roster, I'm gonna give it a B grade. Just like y'all mentioned earlier, there are a lot of question marks. There are a lot of young Thundercats on this team. But I feel like with the veteran leadership that we have, defensively, you have the Jesse Bates and the AJ Terrells to kind of help keep Billy Bowman and Xavier Watts, on the right path. I mean, even DeMarco Hellams missed last year. I mean, essentially, he's still a young Thundercat, right? It's one of them situations where you have the Michael Penixes of the world. And shoot, I apologize. See, I don't want to tell no lies to y'all. We never did a quarterback, so we never got the grade for the quarterbacks. So we could do that one before we head out. But what grade are y'all giving the quarterback room with Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins? Is it one of those? What you shake your head for, Coach Roy?
That's a crazy quarterback room. Starting promising rookie and a veteran backup that could start anywhere, pretty much.
Hey,
man.
Hey, I mean, I count like 5 teams.
It's like Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub days.
Wow. Wow, you took it back. Ooh. A lot of these Thundercats don't know about that situation. Oh, Matt Ryan and Matt Schaub. There you go. Let's see. Shouts out to my homeboy Lario. Lario said, look at here, 12-5 as long as we stay healthy. He said, as long as we stay healthy, this team will be 12-5. I'm not mad at that at all, Lario. We got the squad to do it. Kerry says 131 likes. I'm proud of y'all. 157 in the chat. So 26 of y'all are slacking for real. Dang, go, Carrie. Carrie just holding accountability to a whole nother level. Goodness gracious. Man. All right. So Ricky Reese says A, quarterback room. King 7 says B minus. Ramiro says B. Mactown Dirty says quarterback room A plus. Tanisha says A. Okay. Jamal ETL says A plus. Me myself, I'm giving the quarterback room a B plus. Michael Penix is a huge unknown. So we're going to see what we got going on. Shouts out to my homeboy Mix City Masters Production LLC. Said he smashed the like button. I love it. Kerry says, you think the Packers are trying to trade for Michael Parsons? Is it really real? Read that they're ready to give up money and draft capital to get him. Man, look at here. That's something that'll definitely turn their team around, or that's something that they did. Nando says quarterback room. Hey, Cousins eating up all the salary cap, Bo. Kurt still could start in the NFL. Yeah, I agree with you. Kerry also says you are real one, Mix City, for that. That's what I'm talking about. Ramiro says when we doing the NFC South show. So as a matter of fact, I sent those guys a message before I jumped on here. Yeah, so we're trying to set up the NFC South roundtable. Once we set it up, I'll definitely make an announcement. I normally announce it on Twitter, on X. So feel free to follow us on X at Big Low Country. I'm trying to do better at posting on Facebook. So y'all remind me. Y'all know I'm old. I be working all the time, and I got these businesses going on, and I'm trying to be the best husband that I could be, and I got to go check up on Shady in Florida, and Mama Country be needing me. Y'all make sure y'all remind me to post on Facebook. I be slipping, y'all. Karina says this will definitely be an interesting season. It definitely will, my sister. It definitely will. Well, look here. In the meantime, I need y'all to stay safe. Please don't do anything that I would do. And shoot, how many days are we? What is it, like 11 days, if I'm not mistaken? Like 11 days? Good 11 days, smooth 11 days for NFL football, Atlanta Falcons football. So y'all already know what time it is, Bo. Y'all, thank y'all so much for hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and that share button. We'll definitely greatly appreciate it. Also, see, I know Dre couldn't help himself. He says, Carrie, I did know that, though. Angel, Princess, and Queen, beloved, hello. Stop caking, Dre. Stop caking. Get that cake out your heart, Dre. Dang, go. Man, boy. Goodness gracious. Mix City says, I can't wait for that round table. It'd be too funny, man. Y'all already know how we do, bro. But look here, man. Y'all stay safe. Please don't do anything that I would do. Y'all already know what time it is, bro. We're going to get together sometime soon as we get prepared for the season. It's starting to get pit rally season. But in the meantime, rise up. A-time down. What in the world, bro?